Hello again, everybody. Welcome back in. In this video, we're going to be discussing another update that rolled out this week, but this is a big one because there's going to be a reversal and there's also big changes coming now to the Guardian City Challenge schedule. For those of you that are R4s, R5, R4s, you probably have already seen it and how big that change is now. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to start with this update is the introduction of the ultimate battle for Gotham. So in this version of the Gotham battle, a server is going to get pitted against another one. We're going to go head to head, and the winning side will then select an omnipresident. Two other members are also going to be selected to the Earth Council, and then the winning side will oversee the Losers Council during the rest of the period. So there are a couple of things that I was able to get some details on. Number one is that participation is server wide. You do not need to be on a top 8 league. Well, the only requirements are that you have a war room level that is above 25, and there's also a player cap when it comes to enter the battle, which last I was told it was 1,000. Based on the server size right now, I don't know if some of the later servers might cap that out, but I know that some of the early servers may not cap that out. So I can give you an example for my server. The last Gotham battle, there were only 215 participants. So I would expect that there wouldn't be a problem in our server with a cap. But I would check in your server to see if anybody recorded how many participants there were in your last Gotham battle. So that kind of gives you an idea, just in case you need to enter the battle early so you don't get left out. The other thing too is that now, based on how this is going to be scheduled, is that we're going to have our server only battle right at the beginning of the month. All right. So that first week of that cycle, so it's going to be a 4-week cycle. So that first week of that cycle is going to be the Gotham battle for your server. All right. So then a winner's picked, and then on the other 3 weeks where we'll be rotating, your server will get picked in one of those 3 weeks to run your server versus server battle. All right, that's the plan right now. So you have to kind of look at the interface of your league page to look to see when that battle will start, whether it's going to be the week after your server only battle or is going to be followed in the 3rd week or the 4th week. All right. So that is the plans. That's exactly how they're going to be now scheduling these Gotham battles for each month. So there'll be 2 that you'll have to worry about, especially if you like this particular part of the content in the game. All right. The other thing too that we need to really discuss here, and this is the one that that is going to cause some headaches. It may lead to minimizing turnout, which I think could be bad, but I will see how it plays out at the beginning. But I already can tell that there are going to be some headaches with this. So one of the things that they're deciding to do is they're trying not to make sure that everything gets scheduled on the weekend. So they want to add a little bit of flexibility with the schedule, especially when it comes to Guardian Challenge. So you don't have to worry about doing a battle on Saturday for Guardian Challenge, or 2, depending on how many cities you occupy. And at the same time, then you have to try to fit in the Gotham battle into your league schedule. So what they decided to do is they're going to open up Guardian Challenge. So now it's distributed throughout the week. So for those of you that are R4s, R5s, you're already seeing it. There's a registration period going on right now. As it stands for me, it's a Sunday night. And now going into Monday, you're going to have to decide as to what city you're going to go after, or if you're going to stick, defend, whatever, however your process run through, try to accommodate for a 1-day period. Now you're going to do it through a week. All right. Now, from what I noticed based on the schedules is that the battles, yes, they're going to now occur between that Wednesday to Saturday, I think, or the Saturday is the calculation period. But so essentially it's like Tuesday through Friday that you have these battles going on right now. And then what then is happening is that the game is selecting those times. So at least from what I noticed in my Guardian Challenge interface, given that I'm an R4 so I can see the schedule, is that some of these battles, at least for Americans, are being scheduled at 5 in the morning on a Thursday, 6 in the morning on a Wednesday, just for some of the cities. Now, luckily, those cities those cities are not on our schedule this week, but I can just imagine that on following week, our four-star city is gonna end up at 6 in the freaking morning, going into a Thursday. So I I do hope that there is enough feedback given to them about the times, and maybe one solution would be to allow us to select the time frame to defend our city. I do think that the occupiers of the city should have some flexibility there to pick a time frame at least, and then let the game accommodate based on what server activity or whatever it is that it needs to accommodate during that particular time so the battle runs. We're gonna have to try this out. I do want to see how this is affected in the long run as to participation and then the ability to sustain and maintain the cities. Not only that, maybe even the competition of it, right? Will people challenge, or will they just stay away because they can't find the time that is adequate for their league? I do hope that they reevaluate this in the future, especially with the times, But this is what you can look forward to now. So it'll be up to your R4s and R5s to communicate with you right at the beginning of the week when those matches are listed for your particular league. The other thing here that is really good news, especially for those players that invested already in Queen Hippolyta and those servers that she has already been released, and for us on the later servers that have not get to seen her yet, she is being reverted back to her original form. So there was enough feedback given to the developers saying this hero is not performing as well as she used to. We wouldn't have invested in her as much if we knew that this was going to be her form. So I'm not going to go through the whole kit here, because the lowdown on this is that she is getting reverted back to her original form. So her ultimate will have the shield, and also what I'm seeing here is that the legacy piece is being reverted back now, where she will gain additional health. Not only that, they added a little bonus on top of it. So I think that this piece is going to be really, really good to get, even if Hippolyta is not yet in your server. So try to get your hands on it and, level it up if you can. But this is good news. So Queen Hippolyta is going back to her original form. Also, Joker's skills are getting upgraded, and his legacy piece is seeing a little bit of a change. All right. So I'm going to be interested to see how this actually changes and how much better this piece could become, especially given how unfavorable that this legacy piece is particularly seen among the community. So, number one, this seems to be more of a fix, but now it appears that when Shazam does his Atlas boost, that now the passive effect by the Joker Venom will trigger. All right, so apparently Shazam was able to get around it, not anymore. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Okay, so when it comes to the legacy piece, what I can tell you is that the way that they changed it now is that the Joker's effect accuracy will be increased. It looks like by 5% per level. All right. So it used to be 15, let's see, it used to be 5 to 20%. Now it'll go from 10 to 25%. So it's a slight boost there. Now, instead of the Joker's attack increasing based on the level and then heal him based on the attack that he does, now each one of his attacks will increase the target's damage taken by anywhere between 1.5 and 6%, depending on the level of the piece, for 10 seconds. And this now can stack up to 10 times. So they're giving us a little bit of a boost when it comes to the accuracy. They're giving us a little bit of boost when it comes to the damage, but they're taking the heal part away. All right. So I have this legacy piece because at the beginning, you actually allow me to do more damage with him, with Joker, especially when I was using him in the combat cycle. But eventually, after a while, the other Venom piece that is available in the game through the Hyper Time Tracker got upgraded, and it started catching up to Joker's piece here. So what I'm going to be looking for is to see if actually now this piece becomes a lot better and is now worth having it without the heal. So that's going to be the intriguing part when we get to test this as soon as the update rolls out. The other thing to keep an eye out for is that they rename now the daily and the weekly bundle. So now it just clearly says it's either a weekly or a daily bundle, right? Another thing that they have fixed here with Nightwing's follow-up strike, especially when he is able to defeat an enemy target, is that ultimate will no longer consume that additional energy. So that's apparently a fix that they needed to make there. Also, they were able to fix an issue where Krypton's best super friend would sometimes fail to transfer after he was defeated. So now it's going to be able to transfer. Again, the biggest things here is Hippolyta getting reverted back to her original form, and then the major changes here to the Guardian Challenge. So if you are one of those players that really cannot make a battle on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning at 6 in the morning, I think that this is your opportunity to give feedback and say, there's got to be a way around that. There's got to be a way for the league to choose the time to defend. That's my suggestion, and I hope that you take it. Thank you all very much for tuning and watching. I will see you all in the next video.